Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is a Yankee and the Brit Thursday night football pregame show coming to you on Wednesday. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy
Maddie's like,
Thanksgiving for tomorrow, everyone. It is
yeah, Maddie's
Thanksgiving
like,
for me.
yeah, but like, not only are you British, so you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you're in fucking Thailand where they don't give a shit about Thanksgiving
No,
either.
no, they really don't. Although there is Christmas music in every. I'm in a westernized area of Hanoi right now, so there's Christmas music in every fucking cafe, and I'm like,
So you want to
should
stab
we
yourself in
calm
the
down,
ear?
please? Yeah, it's like it's not giving me the vibe of Christmas when it's like 20 degrees outside and I'm absolutely sweating.
I hate Christmas music. I
But
absolutely despise Christmas music.
what's your least favorite Christmas song?
Oh, they play so many of them on the radio. I'm like, I hate them all. Whatever's the longest.
Whatever's the longest. It's the one where it's like Santa Baby, where it's like the girl singing in baby voice for me is a bit
Oh.
intense, isn't it?
Or that
Yeah, a
one
bit
from the
weird.
beginning of the cartoon from Frosty the Snowman. They fucking that Christmas one. They play that
All right,
every
okay.
fucking Christmas, and it's I hate Christmas music. I sound like the Grinch, but let's remember the Grinch didn't hate Christmas. He just hated people.
You hate people, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
It's yeah, I vibe with that. It's Thursday the 23rd for me, so it is Thanksgiving here. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you do whatever you do on Thanksgiving and have a great time.
yeah, well, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can just watch football and eat food and have a good time. Two,
Sounds
if
like a
you'd
good day.
like to save money for Christmas, you bring up politics at Thanksgiving, and then there's a bunch of people you don't have to buy Christmas presents for.
Smart. See, now you're thinking economically. Now you know what's going on. But Thanksgiving is a strange thing for us because it basically just sounds like it's basically just Christmas Day. Like that's what you do on Thanksgiving is what we do on Christmas
And
Day.
and if you really think about what we're doing, is we're celebrating the Pilgrims
Uh,
giving this
yeah,
Native American smallpox and what but like
yeah, but turkey, right? So it doesn't matter.
tofurkey for me, tofurkey for me.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot you're vegetarian.
All right. Well, we had some games from last week that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some Ravens, Bengals, and the Bengals are officially dead.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because the Bengals story was an interesting one. It was, are they going to make it? Are they not going to make it? This could go either way. There's a few games that they could lose in this schedule. There's some issues with other teams are probably going to outwin them. Like, are they going to make it? But now, and especially after watching the game after Joe Burrow went down, because you were thinking like, oh, maybe the Bengals defense is good enough and they've got a decent run game, and if Browning can distribute to those good wide receivers, you're thinking, oh, maybe they've got an opportunity to come away with a few games. But now, damage limitation for the Bengals. I'd try and get the highest draft pick I can from this point because watching that second half, they were dead in the water. They couldn't do anything.
Well, Jake Browning was given $100,000 from the Vikings coming out of college as an undrafted free agent, and he is not going to win them games. I watched him
No,
on a practice squad. He's not going to win them games.
to be fair, they scored 10 points in the second half, which is exactly the same amount that they scored in the first, but that touchdown in the fourth quarter largely due to the Ravens like taking their foot off the gas a little bit, I think. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame for the Bengals, but they're officially dead. Another year of Jamar Chase is now gone, and he's wasted. Have they paid Jamar Chase already? Is it his contract year this year?
I can't remember if he came out the year before or the year after JJ.
Let's have a look. He was
So
the year after, he was after JJ.
then he'd be in his 5th-year option, right? So
He signed Jamar Chase has signed a 4-year, $30 million, basically $31 million contract with the Bengals. With all of that guaranteed.
that
So
would be that was his rookie deal, though.
oh right, okay. Yeah. Yes, that is his rookie deal. I was like, oh wow, that sounds like a lot of money, but it's not 30 a year, it's
Or did him and JJ
for
come
the
out
whole
the
thing.
same year?
No. Jamar came after JJ.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Well, then he's in his 3rd year and he can't even get paid until after this year.
Yeah, but okay, point still stands. It's another year of Jamar Chase on a rookie deal wasted. Which is a shame. And Joe Burrow, are we sure that Joe Burrow is durable enough to make runs at the Super Bowl? Like, I know it's a freak injury, but that's 2 freak injuries now for Joe Burrow. So
yeah, I was gonna say, how many times do you have a freak injury before you're labeled injury prone? Because if that was fucking Lamar, he's missed more games than Lamar, by the way. And the way they crushed Lamar for not being able to be hold up as a running quarterback. I mean, Joe Burrow's missed more games than Lamar. So are we starting to talk about Joe Burrow in the same breath? Because I think it's only fair that you have to talk about him that way if you're going to talk about Lamar that way.
yeah, and if Dak Prescott is injury prone, which he misses at least a game or 2 a season, so we will call it injury prone. The first injury was a freak accident. The first injury is a freak accident, but then other stuff has led on from that injury. So I know, like this one with the wrist and the way he did it is probably not going to reoccur. But once you've broken it, then it'll break it. It's easier for it to break again.
And they can say whatever the fuck they want because they don't want to get fined because he wasn't on the injury report. But he was injured going into that game because they pulled that fucking video off their social media where he was wearing that wrist brace around his thumb and his wrist. And they're like, oh no, it was a whatever sleeve, like one of those Tommy Copper fucking compression sleeves. And it's like, man, that was a fucking brace. We're not stupid. You just don't want to be fined for not having him on the injury report.
Yeah. So the Bengals are dead, and Joe Burrow, you can't be. The thing is, you can't be considered a top quarterback if you're not available. The best ability is availability. So it really hinders this Bengals talk of like the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl as long as they have Joe Burrow, because we don't know that they'll have Joe Burrow for a full season. The Bengals also idiots, really dumb for not having a better backup QB from the start of the season, because Joe Burrow's calf injury, he wasn't right at the start of the season at all. So if they had somebody there, they might not have been in this mess.
That could be a whole nother podcast,
yeah.
But teams do not take the backup quarterback seriously enough.
No, and it's not that there's plenty of teams out there with really good backup quarterbacks. So having a solid, really solid backup should be a big deal. Like having Josh Dobbs for the Bengals might, and we'll talk about Josh Dobbs later, I'm sure, but having Josh Dobbs for the Bengals might make a bit of a difference. Might have meant that Joe Burrow could come back from his calf. I know it's weird that his calf might affect his wrist, but when you injure one place, you're then making it up with the other parts of your body. So maybe his wrist would have been less fragile if they let him come back off the calf a bit easier. Like, there's plenty of backup quarterbacks out there that are better than Brownling as well.
And I know he's an interception machine, but if you have a guy like Jameis on that team, you could win games right now with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Jameis Winston. Imagine Jameis Winston with Jamar Chase. He hit like that'd be so, at least it would be fun to watch, because the Bengals have had a problem of being irrelevant for quite a while until very recently. Yeah, so at least it'd be fun to watch from now.
They don't develop players like as well as they should either, like especially like backup quarterbacks and things like that. If you find a guy and you think he could be your backup quarterback for 8 years, even though he'll never start, put time and effort into that guy.
Yeah, like the Bears should be putting time and effort into Tyler Bajan. Like that's somebody that they should go, okay, this guy's going to be a very serviceable backup for us at least for the next 10, 12, because those guys, if they're good professionals, they can be around the building forever and they can assist the guys coming in. They learn how the league works. They become a coach for you. They become like your assistant in the room. So like guys like Brian Hoyer, who were very serviceable quarterbacks for a long time, take on other roles that aren't just the backup quarterback. But when you put them in, they know the system. They know how to run it. They know how it works. They have good connections with your top wide receivers so that they have things around the ball. So it's really bad due diligence from the Bengals when you've got Joe Burrow, who is injury prone, and they need to realize that he is injury prone, that they need a good backup quarterback.
Now, we don't know with the Vikings what Jaron Hall is. We don't know what his ceiling is at all. But that first drive, he moved that ball down the field like he had been playing the game for a fucking couple years. He looked good in the preseason with guys who are selling insurance right now. Um, so if you're the Vikings, I think, and to go along with your point, maybe he's a starter someday, but to me, he looks like he's at least a backup for the next however many years. And so you put some effort into making sure that that guy's up to speed in case Kirk, Dobbs, the way Dobbs plays, he could get fucking injured next week. So you know what I mean. You could see Jaron Hall in there, and I really hope that the Vikings seem like a team that really, because they talk about developing players. So, and we've seen it on the defense a lot, where they developed a lot of guys. So I'm hoping they're doing the same thing with KOC, doing it with Jaron Hall, because at worst, he's a cheap backup quarterback who could come in and play.
Yeah, definitely. And there's these guys that are excellent to have in the building as well. So uh just for the Bengals, for example, if they had a Cooper Rush, if they got Andy Dalton from the Panthers, like if they took
Maybe
back Andy Dalton, you've got
maybe Andy Dalton
Sam
should
Darnold.
maybe they should make some of those guys though that are getting older, like Sean Mannion, that they keep around in Minnesota because he knows the offense and he can help teach it and whatever. Make them guys assistant quarterback coaches or something. But like, stop bringing in the 800-year-old guy to be the backup quarterback whose arm can't play anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
just,
mean I wouldn't put Andy Dalton in that. Andy Dalton
how
has looked
old is he now?
decent within the past 36. But he's looked decent within the
He
past
is
3
an
years.
old 36. Holy fuck.
He's looked decent within the past 3 years. But you have guys like Cooper, and make sure it's a guy that suits your offense. I can't remember.
I feel like bringing more young guys and build them up. It seems like
Yeah.
the way to do it to me, because and then that way maybe you hit lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean? With one of, maybe you hit the next Brock Purdy or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah. And you have three, like you have three quarterbacks. You can have one old that's good for the locker room who is perfectly serviceable. You can have one young who might be the next lightning in a bottle guy, but you develop him to then be he'll be your old head eventually in 10 years time, and that kind of thing. And it's a constant cycle.
Since we're talking about backup quarterbacks, let's talk about Josh Dobbs turning back into a pumpkin at midnight and turning back. Did you get a chance to watch the game? I don't know what your time shit over there is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did.
If Kirk Cousins is in that game, they win by fucking 20. And on that last drive, he drives them down, puts them in field goal range. And Greg Joseph comes in and either wins it or loses it for us.
Yes, like
Dobbs looked bad.
he did. And we did our Dobbs podcast. We released it after this game. So it's interesting.
It got some good feedback in Vikings territory group, though.
Good. With Dobbs, sorry, with Dobbs in that game, I don't understand how he's so good in the first half of game, because he looked good. Like He threw an ugly interception, didn't he, in that first half, or was it a horrible
Seems
fumble?
like as soon as the defense gets to make adjustments at halftime, he's fucked.
Yeah, it feels like it's like Lamar Jackson with the NFC, right? So Lamar Jackson against the NFC is now, I think, is 18-1 or something, like something
Ridiculous.
absolute, something crazy like that. It was 16-1 at the start of the season. I think he's played 2 NFC teams and won, which would make him 18-1. And it's the first time you see Lamar Jackson. You don't know how to play him. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is fucking miles better than Josh Dobbs, so it's even higher in effect. But it looks like when you first start seeing Josh Dobbs, you're like, oh shit, this guy's faster than I expected. This guy runs harder than I expected. This guy throws a nicer ball than we expected him to. Let's make adjustments for that in the second half. And then once you've made adjustments, he is just average at those things. You just expect worse from him. Is how I would look at Josh Dobbs in Minnesota. Does KOC need to make adjustments to that?
Yes, and he's absolutely a serviceable quarterback. Don't get me wrong. And he would be an amazing backup, and he's probably, like you said, a top, I don't remember what we got to, 17 starter, but that has to do with a lot of injuries.
Yeah, he was top 17 in the league due to like a lot of people going down.
Take out all the injuries, he's probably in the mid-20s, and that's the last place you want to be with a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, the last place you want to be with a quarterback in the NFL is the 32nd starting quarterback.
Well, yeah, but I feel like if you're 20 to 32, you're in trouble. Like, because the fall off from great to good is so big, and then good to average, and then average to, like, that's big drop offs. And I always feel weird because, yes, I absolutely shit on players, but you're literally talking, if every team has 3 quarterbacks in the league, they're the best, 96 fucking quarterbacks or whatever, 90, whatever quarterbacks in the world. So it's weird to shit on it, but some are just way better than others.
Yeah, well, I would say that Carson Wentz is a top 96 quarterback in the world, but isn't on a team as well. So you've got to take those, players into consideration.
If you're talking skill only. Now, if you're talking the whole package, he doesn't seem to have been a good teammate from what we've been hearing. So that's a big.
You don't want him in the locker room. Right. That's why
talent-wise, he's better than a lot of starters in the NFL.
Yeah, so that's why you sit him on the sideline. You're very right about that, actually. Yeah, but the problems for the Vikings.
He's on the LA Rams right now, so he does have a job.
Oh right, okay. Oh, never mind then.
They just picked him up last week, so if
at the start of the season he was. Yeah. But there is no reason for the Vikings to lose this game. They were the better team. I don't think it's. I don't think it's burn the house down for the Vikings because you lost against the Broncos, because I actually think the Broncos are a lot better than people think they are. Like if the Broncos made the playoffs
right now, they're still in the playoffs with an 80% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, especially with Joe Burrow going down, that's another win. That's another one in the win column there, you would hope. The reason they lost this game, and it was their problem at the beginning of the season as well, is they lost the turnover battle. 3 turnovers to none. So they spent 34 minutes in total possession. They rushed for 174 yards. They threw for 175 yards. They threw for 210. They were on the ball for 10 minutes longer than the Broncos. But if you're going to turn the ball over on 3 drives and not get any turnovers back, you're probably going to lose that game, even if all the other stats are in your favor. You can't lose the turnover battle by 3.
Can we please, and you know it's going to pain me to say this, can we please put Alexander Madison on the bench already? Can we just admit that it's the Ty Chandler time, ride him for the rest of the season, and see what happens? Because if Madison fumbles that motherfucking ball one more fucking time, it was bad enough that Dobbs on like the 3rd fucking play of the game fumbles the ball. But when your quarterback fumbles or throws an interception, they're doing so much, they control so much. we sometimes give them a little bit more of a pass. The running back cannot be turning the fucking ball over like that. They just can't be doing it. That's you got one job as the running back. Seriously, you hold on to the fucking ball.
Yeah. When your one job is to hold on to the ball, you need to make sure you hold on to the fucking ball. Now, Josh Dobbs needs to stop waving that fucking thing
I
around.
agree.
Because, like, we spoke about that in the pod, and then he did it in the game, and I was like, you absolute dickhead. Like, he needs to stop waving that ball around. Lamar needs to stop doing it as well. Like, there's so many quarterbacks that do that, and it's like, you pass the... You pass the point where you can throw the ball. How many defenders are actually biting on that little pump fake, like where you're past the place where you're able to throw it. As soon as you decide you're taking off,
Well,
take off.
somehow Jerry Jeudy
Okay.
got fucking Martellus in the air by fucking pump faking past the line. I was like, oh my god, like how did that? Granted, he got lucky because there was another defender right next to him. I think it was Byron Murphy who made the tackle, but Jerry Jeudy, the receiver, did that to somebody and got him to jump. It's like, come on, know where you are on the field.
Yeah, that's stupid. And it's again NFL players knowing the fucking rules of the game. It's something that is an issue. But yes, I mean Alexander Madison rushed for 81 yards on 18 carries at an average of 4.5, but Ty Chandler ran for 73 off 10 carries, an average of 7.3, and didn't fumble the fucking ball.
And the burst is so much different. So if you gave him half of Alexander Madison's carries, what does Ty Chandler have? Like 100 and some yards, probably,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And then 2 weeks ago, we saw a great run by Ty Chandler called back, which is whatever, but it didn't change the fact that Ty Chandler saw the hole, hit the hole, made a move, and hit the end zone, you know? So I don't understand what the fucking Vikings are doing. And I know this sounds bad coming off of a loss, but Denver is not good, and Sean Payton's got a whole lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Denver love right now because I have said since they put up 70 points, their defense has been really decent. Like their defense has been very good since they gave up 70, which obviously you gave up 70, so can't be that great. But since they did that, they have been very good since then. They've held the Chiefs to under double digits twice in that time. They've been really solid. What I'm struggling with is now the Russell Wilson is back love so I've been saying Russell Wilson isn't as bad as we think he is. The defense has been poor, and now that the defense is better, Russell Wilson is playing exactly the same as he was, and they're winning games. So we were right. But now let's not say that Russell Wilson is fucking Russell from the Seattle Seahawks. It's not the same. It's not. He can be decent.
And majority of his completions were on a third string rookie.
Yeah, so I've never been so annoyed listening to First Things First in my entire life than when they put two segments together talking about how, so basically Nick Wright defends Dak and they say like, oh, he only threw for 200 yards against the Panthers. Like, what the fuck is that? Only 200 yards against the Panthers. It's like, that's not the point. The point is that Dak is no longer turning the ball over, which is all we've asked him to do. And then also we're winning games and we're blowing teams out. So we don't need to worry about Dak Prescott throwing for fucking 400 yards because in the games where he has been asked to pass a lot more, so in that Eagles game, he was fucking excellent. And in that, like in certain times, he's been absolutely excellent all the way through the season when the leash is off. But when we're blowing teams out, there's no need for it. And then in the next segment, they start talking about Chris Broussard starts fucking licking Russell Wilson's arsehole, saying like he's not turning the ball over and he's fucking amazing. And it's like, what? Like how does that analysis work? How are we chastising Dak for doing the same thing and then fucking loving Russell Wilson? I know it's because we expect more out of Dak and he's on a better team and everything like that, but
take out Russell in Seattle. Okay, let's say that doesn't exist. Russell in Seattle. Russell is Josh Dobbs.
Yeah,
Since he's been in Denver.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the turnover, like the lack of fumbling, I would say is the
Okay, but those
difference there.
interceptions last year fucking stacked up,
Yeah.
you know. So
yeah.
I
Russell
think
Wilson
what we've
is
learned is you
again.
can't let Russ cook, and that
Yeah,
if you need to give him a great defense and a running game, and then he is a good, very good play action quarterback who can make things happen off schedule, but he can't be the one to carry a team.
yeah. Russell Wilson is doing exactly what he needs to do for them to win games. Josh Dobbs is actually above Russell Wilson in passing yards on the season by 200. That's like a whole game for both of them.
Fuck. Well, maybe did Denver have their bye? Maybe that's because we haven't had our bye yet.
Yes,
so
Denver had the bye, so that's the game. Then
so they're pretty much the same quarterback this year.
Yeah, I mean Russ is above in passer rating. Russ has got like a 104 passer rating.
And up until 3 weeks ago, he played with a lot better receivers than Dobbs too.
Yeah, that's true. But Russ has got an 104 passer rating, which is pretty impressive as well. That's the same as Dak Prescott, funnily enough. But Russ is Russ. I never thought that Russ was a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's going to be the person who leads you to wins. But if you put like a good defense, which Denver now seem to have, if you give him some better wide receivers, he now seems to have a good connection with Cortland Sutton, then they're going to be able to win games. And Russ is doing exactly what he needs to do to win games. But let's not now say that Russ is fucking unbelievable again. Let's not, because he's not. That's not what's happening here. The Denver defense has got better.
Well, I do have a question on a different team, Maddie. Are the Eagles the best team in the NFL? Because I say yes. Right now, they're the best team in the NFL.
No. They needed Patrick Mahomes to have one of the worst games of his career. They needed Travis Kelce to have one of the worst games of his career. And they needed Andy Reid to coach.
Defense.
They needed Andy Reid to coach poorly for them to win the game. And they needed the Kansas City team to drop 5 balls to win the game.
Okay, well, the refs were trying to help Kansas City during that game with bad calls on the Eagles. And I would say everything you just said about Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelce was due to the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Patrick Mahomes' absolutely awful interception that he throws straight to the wide receiver by overthrowing the guy by about 20 yards.
Time to time. That's not shocking for a Patrick Mahomes move. So
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's not. But with Patrick Mahomes, like Patrick played like he did not play his best
better
game
than the Eagles right now.
Well, on the that's the problem, isn't it? Because the teams that I would say they've also, because I would say that the Chiefs is still better. Like the Chiefs had to have one of their fucking worst games to beat the Eagles, like 5 drops.
Isn't that the Chiefs all year though? The Chiefs lost to the Lions, should have lost to the Vikings. I mean, so like,
I just think the Eagles, the criticism that we gave the Vikings, not that me and you gave the Vikings, but the criticism that people gave the Vikings all last season is they only win games by 1 score. The Eagles have only been winning games by 1 score all year. So do we not give them the same critique? Like that's including teams.
I feel like a win is a win. The NFL is a hard place to fucking win. And it doesn't matter if you win by 70 or 1. I mean, look at the Dolphins. They don't get anything for winning by 50 points in that 70-point game. They don't get anything extra.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Eagles win those gritty, tight games. And I love
the Eagles make
coming out
gritty, tight games.
I love Sirianni coming out and giving it after the game, giving it to the Chiefs fans on the way into the tunnel. I fucking love it.
I think it's unprofessional, and do you
know all the shit they get talked to on the way into those places? Fuck, I love it.
So take it. You're an NFL coach. But they have
and that, but that's why his team loves them. Loves that guy.
Yes, that's true. The Eagles make gritty games, by the way. Like, just putting that out there. The Eagles make the game gritty and only winnable by one score. That's what they do. And I think that may come back to bite them in the ass. I think when the 49ers are healthy, I think the 49ers are better than the Eagles. It's if the 49ers can be healthy, which is what we've said for a long time, whereas the Eagles do remain healthy.
And this is just off what's on topic, but off what we're talking. They have the best center in the league at 36 years old.
Yeah, Jason Kelce is incredible.
Fucking amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, Jason Kelce is amazing. Their fucking offensive line they have the best offensive line in the league.
He is 50% of the reason why the brotherly shove works so well.
Yeah, probably. Like, he is the difference. There's got to be a difference.
Size of fucking Jalen Hurts' legs. That's 30% of why they do it well too.
What I don't understand is why people keep on trying to jump over the top on the brotherly shove, though. Like, they
think they can grab him and stop his momentum for some reason, but
you're too high. He's too low to the ground.
You can do it with a lot of quarterbacks. You could grab Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or some of these guys, and even probably Lamar, and throw them backwards. Hurts fucking squats 600 and some pounds. You are not taking that guy out going high.
Yeah. So the way to combat the brotherly shove, and I would like to see a few teams do it, by the way. The way to combat the brotherly shove is get low and just do it back. Like, just get super low and just everybody drive at the center and just create a rugby scrum. And then it's just because I doubt the Eagles are that much heavier than the Kansas City defense. I doubt they're that much heavier. So it's just pushing each other.
How much bigger is Chris Jones than fucking Kelce?
Yeah, exactly. So it's that it's just two masses pushing each other, and then it's forward progress stopped. And then I know it's easier said than done, but just drive up the middle. Just get low and just drive up the middle. That's all you got to do. It's not. I know it's easier said than all you got to do.
No, I get it though. I get what you're saying.
Get rugby play. They're doing a rugby style play. Get rugby players in to fucking defend it. We'll tell you there's a massive fucker on the other side. Get low. Like, that's all. That's what it is. That's the game. The lowest to the ground wins.
Yeah, it gives you a split second when you're the offense to get low though, because you know the snap count.
Yeah, that's true. The Eagles have got 1-score games against the Patriots, the Vikings, which they should have lost, the Commanders, which they should have lost, the Jets, which they did lose, the Commanders again, the Cowboys, which could have gone either way, and the Chiefs, which they should have lost.
So what you're saying is they figure out how to win even when the chips are stacked against them.
What I'm saying is they're making games needlessly close when they to be like the best team in the NFL.
What's their record?
9-1, but the Steelers were 11-0, doing exactly the same.
I was being more facetious, but
yeah. The Steelers were 11-0 3 years ago, doing exactly the same thing. These 1-score games against shitty teams, and then when teams get I'm not saying they're the Steelers. But that point of view is disprovable, and I think in playoff football, having games that close will come back to bite them. I think the Cowboys are going to beat them the next time we play against them.
Why would you have any faith in a team that made it to the Super Bowl last year?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Look, they've got the best record in the NFL. They find ways to win games. I struggle to say that they're the best team in the NFL. Like, in terms of like actual talent, like the 49ers, if they're all healthy, are better than the Eagles, player for player.
Yeah, well, the Vikings handled them, so
when they were injured, that's not my point.
Okay, but Justin Jefferson was out. We were missing our left tackle.
No. I'm just saying. I'm not shitting on the Vikings. No, I'm just saying that's when the 49ers are injured, so it doesn't count.
And the 49ers are always injured.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
The 49ers game never counts.
The 49ers game. No, it doesn't count for this point that I'm making, as if the 49ers are healthy, they beat the Eagles. And I think the Cowboys have them the next time we play them. I honestly do.
Well, before we just keep talking in circles, because you're on 180 of the circle and I'm on the other 180. I think that's right. Yeah, three. Okay.
Yeah, I admit my biases. By the way, just putting that out there.
I fucking hate the Eagles. So like, this isn't
Yeah.
me with love. I fucking hate the Eagles because of the NFC Championship game. But
Yeah.
Maddie, how about that Dolphins Raiders game? Dolphins or the Raiders playing way better under Antonio Pierce. I don't think it will, but do you think that this should help him keep that job?
I mean, I think it should, right? Like the Raiders now have who is the I always forget this other guy's name. Special teams coach goes on to be their head coach. They win loads of games. Yeah, Bisaccia. Right. They had the same situation with Bisaccia, and then they go and get the big money. They go and get the big money head coach and go like, oh, this sparkly new head coach. Like, look at that, and it doesn't work. It seems like in the Raiders building, hard-nosed coaching does work. And I think especially in a city like Vegas, and especially when you have all this new fancy stadium all around you and like all the flash money that's in Vegas, like your fan base and everything, I think it is important to have a point of difference in the head coach from all of that around you. And look, they would have beaten they would have beaten the Dolphins if they had a non-rookie quarterback, and if the Dolphins probably didn't have Jalen Ramsey back as well, because Jalen Ramsey was immense in that game. So I hesitate to blame this on Aiden O'Connell because Jalen Ramsey has done this to quarterbacks, like amazing quarterbacks all the way through his career. So it's not Aiden O'Connell's fault in his rookie year that he gets picked off by an excellent Jalen Ramsey twice. But if the Raiders have a decent quarterback, they keep this current coaching and the current style of play that they've got going, I think it's fair to say they should keep the job and should at least have it for next year because they look down and out under McDaniels.
Yeah, and it never hurts when your coach has won 2 rings as a player.
Yeah, he knows how to win. It's the same with Vrabel in Tennessee as well. Like those guys who've seen it, they've been in the rooms where they know how to win games.
You mean the Patriots' next head coach?
I think he should be the Patriots' next head coach, right? Like that makes so much sense. That makes a crazy amount of sense to me. Because I think he's also taken the Titans about as far as he can take them. Like he's dragged that organization for a long time. So I think Vrabel that would be an interesting chat for another time. The Patriots' next head coach. But I think if they keep this current style of coaching, I think if they find a quarterback or develop Aiden O'Connell. O'Connell looks perfectly serviceable as a quarterback. So maybe develop Aiden O'Connell, maybe get some competition in there with the guy that you pick up in the draft this year. They have the talent in the building. When you've got Max Crosby on the defensive line, he's a game wrecker. So look, I think they have the talent to where you should keep him. And I think he's shown they should keep him.
If they want a quarterback, the talking heads were just saying that at the end of the year, the Raiders are going to make a big push. The Jets are going to make a big push to trade for Davante Adams again. They tried at the trade deadline. So now that they fired, and maybe if you want to go get a quarterback, stock up on some picks.
Stock up on those picks.
For trading. But see, then I feel bad this is a whole nother discussion, but then I feel bad for Davante Adams because you're going to get traded to an organization. You're going to play with Aaron Rodgers for one more year, and then you're stuck in the same bad situation with a bad quarterback. But that's a whole different.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Are you worried about the Dolphins at all?
Yes, I definitely think so. I think the Dolphins are a team in these close games where they tend to crumble. They're kind of like I think the Cowboys showed against the Eagles that they're not going to crumble in these close games as much as they did against the 49ers. But I think that the Dolphins have a very similar thing as the Cowboys, where it's if this team is fighting for the win and it's close, they have the tendency on the offensive side of the ball to crumble. And I think it really hurts Tua as a quarterback when you have these amazing wide receiver weapons and everybody's expecting you to go put a crazy amount past the Raiders, that you seem to crumble in these tight game situations. It was, what was it? They were behind at halftime. No, they were ahead by 1 point at halftime. They then got 2 field goals in the third quarter. They were lucky that their defense played lights out, because that's
welcome back, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I suppose having Jalen Ramsey back makes me less worried for the Dolphins.
I was just going to say I'm worried about them too, but their shining star in this whole thing is Jalen Ramsey is really going to help that defense. And I didn't know how well he'd come back right away off an injury and being an older dude, and Jalen's back.
Yeah, he was immense. Like, Jalen Ramsey is incredible. I mean, Slayton too as well. He 28 off 36 for 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, it does help when you have Tyreek Hill getting 10 receptions for 146 yards and a touchdown as well. So maybe we don't give Tua all the credit for that one, but the Raiders played hardball, and I feel like when somebody's playing hard against Miami, so playoff football where everybody's going to be playing hard against each other, the Dolphins struggle to match that kind of physicality and hard-nosed football.
This was not just Tyreek Hill sticking up for Tua being his quarterback. So Ocho Cinco said that in a private conversation with Tyreek Hill, he said that Tua throws a better ball than Patrick Mahomes. I don't find that to be crazy. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback, but to say that Tua throws a better ball, I don't find it crazy, because Tua throws a pretty fucking ball.
Yeah, but is it not off? Like, would that not be off distance though? Like, Tua throws a better ball within 10 to 20 yards.
I was just taking it as, I know a lot of people took it as disrespect. I was just taking it as like, no disrespect to Peyton Manning, but Aaron Rodgers throws a way nicer ball than Peyton Manning ever did. Or, you know, there's guys who just, like Michael Vick threw a nicer ball than Peyton Manning.
Maybe Tua throws a more catchable ball than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
maybe
I just thought it was, I didn't think it was a shot. I just thought, I never thought about it. And it kind of makes sense, because Tua does throw a pretty ball. Patrick Mahomes plays quarterback better. And not that Patrick throws a bad ball, but you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe once you get used to the lefty spin from Tua, like, maybe it is a more catchable ball in that way.
Which makes Penix look weird to me when I watch Washington play. When I'm watching these college quarterbacks, that he's left-handed.
They drop back wrong.
Yeah. It's so weird to me.
They drop back wrong, but it adds an interesting dynamic to your offense if you have a lefty thrower, because the pass rush has got to come from a different place than normal.
Right, and now the right tackle becomes your blind side, and the whole thing is,
Yeah, does that mean that the right tackle then gets paid more than the left tackle in Miami? Like, you would think so, right?
They should.
Yeah. I'm sure the owners find a way around that, where they just find a mediocre left tackle, and then then pay normal right tackle money. They make the guy the highest paid right tackle in football, but that makes him like the 5th left tackle or something.
You're right. All right, Maddie. Well, we got 4 games to get through. We got 3 for tomorrow, and then we got the Black Friday game, which the UK, do you guys even know what the fuck Black Friday is?
Yeah, we have Black Friday. Like, American companies rule the show in our economy as well.
Okay, so you know it's not a holiday. It's just they picked a day after Thanksgiving to put a bunch of shit on sale, right? Like, you guys get
so
that?
for us it's obviously the month before Christmas.
Okay.
Like, so it's like a month out from Christmas. Look at all the deals you can get for your presents and for your family for Christmas.
Even though I swear that 2 weeks before Black Friday they just mark the shit up so they can bring it back down, but that's
there's a few things that there are laws against that. I'm sure there are laws against that in the States, but there are laws against it in the UK.
There is not in the States. That's the thing. So, yeah.
Right. there's pretty strict laws against it in the UK. You're really not allowed to do it. But yeah, flights. If any Brits are watching this, go to Ryanair's website. They have like crazy deals on flights right now all over Europe.
I would like Black
Black
Friday
Friday.
deals on flights and groceries over here. That's what I would like.
Yeah, flights and electronics. That's what you get your Black Friday deals on.
Electronics here too, but like the price of groceries, we could use some fucking what they charge for food nowadays. They could do some Black Friday sales at the grocery stores. I'd be all right with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, Interrail tickets are 25% off for anybody watching who wants to travel around Europe this summer. 25% off, and you get a train ticket that takes you all over Europe for 30 days. Costs about £400.
That ain't bad. That's
for a whole month.
Damn.
A whole month of free train travel around Europe.
All right. So we got the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Detroit Lions. The Lions are at home and they are favored by 8 points, and the over-under is 47.5. Dan Campbell and the Lions are a fucking covering machine this year. If you have just bet them to cover the fucking spread on a win or a loss this year, you're doing pretty well. So just give me the Lions minus the fucking 8.
Does the Packers win against the Chargers not give you more faith in?
No, because they're talking about, oh, look at how fucking good Jordan Love was throwing the ball and doing, like, he was throwing to wide open fucking guys. Like,
yeah, he also threw for 27 off 40. Like, his completion rate is horrible in that game. Yeah, the Chargers defense, man, is horrible against this Detroit defense. And
Detroit defense isn't that good. They got to win shootouts.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how, like, in my mind, the Detroit defense is better than it actually is when you actually sit down, watch it. They gave up. You can run. I think the difference is you can run on this Detroit defense, which is why the Bears look so good with Justin Fields. Well, looks so good, but looks better.
They should have won that Fields game, motherfucker.
Yeah, they should have won that game. Yeah, but they look good with Justin Fields in the Bears. Justin Fields looked all right, like in terms of running the ball and stuff like that. But I think Detroit has a problem with running the ball. Sorry,
he helped me win a fantasy game. I needed to pick somebody up because even in my other leagues, my quarterbacks keep getting nuked. So I picked him up off waivers, started him, and he helped me win that game.
I think let's remember that Josh Dobbs is currently the 17th best quarterback in the NFL. When we're like all quarterbacks are getting nuked so far this season. Yeah. I'm happy that I have Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott now, just in case one of them gets hurt. But Detroit, their defense isn't as good as you think, but the Packers don't have the position. They don't have the running game to take advantage of the Detroit Lions defensive weakness.
Especially with Aaron Jones going down now too.
Yeah, AJ Dillon is like the biggest looking dude. He runs like AJ Dillon is the softest runner for a guy that looks that big I've ever seen. Like he runs like a marshmallow, but like is the size of a like.
I hope he hears this.
The size of a house.
He just goes off this week, so I can like slap you around in fantasy.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, we're playing each other in fantasy this week, aren't we?
And I'm starting Dillon because Aaron Jones went down. I have both of them.
Yeah. I have to start Pat Fryermuth because Mark Andrews went down and Isaiah Likely got taken the pick before me.
If I was thinking, I should have grabbed him off a free agent wire so you couldn't have him. But I wasn't.
Yeah, thinking. I knew you were. Do you know what? I honestly knew you were. I was like, I bet you that Jay takes either Isaiah Likely or Pat Fryermuth to fuck me over.
I would have if I'd have thought about it. I definitely would have. It would have crossed my mind.
Yeah, I was sat like, I bet you he fucking does it. And then I bet you he drops the fuckers next week. Like
I would have done that too.
Just to really rub it in. It's okay. I'm projected to beat you anyway with without a tight end. So
Yeah, well,
like,
I've been
that's fine.
projected to win half the games I lost this year and to lose half the games I've won this year.
The
So fuck
the projections on fantasy are all over the fucking place this week. Like Tony Pollard has been projected to score like 18 points for the past like 3 weeks, and just he looked good this week. We'll talk more about Tony Pollard.
Derrick Henry has got me like 15 points in the last 4 weeks combined. So let's not even go there.
Yeah, so give me the Lions to win by 8 points in this one.
Yeah, and I don't bet it, but I would take the under at 47.5 because I don't trust the Packers to put up too many points.
Yeah, and I trust their defense to hold out enough.
All right, well, here is the biggest point spread of the weekend. It is the Washington Commanders traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 13.5. I fucking hate those big point spreads, but I feel like Dallas has been covering some of those big point spreads too. I'll let you go first before I make a decision on this one, Maddie. What are you thinking? What is our resident Cowboy fan thinking?
Yeah, so just going back to the Commanders' loss against the Giants last week after being favored by 9 points, which is
Tommy DeVito.
But I text you. Do you remember? I messaged you legitimately straight after the podcast, being like, "Shit, I forgot to mention that I don't know whether the Commanders will be able to do anything on the pass rush because they got rid of Sweat and Chase."
Yeah,
and they couldn't, and I would have looked like a fucking genius. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's fine. Yeah, the Commanders didn't play well, but I worry about the Commanders offensively in some of these games because Sam Howell just seems to have these games where he's just fucking incredible. I mean, he'll throw the ball away, give you turnovers, but he's fucking incredible as well. But I don't think the Commanders' defense is good enough. All of that being said, Dak is playing now that McCarthy has loosened the reins a little bit, and we're actually allowed to play offensive football. Dak has looked good. I think last week for Tony Pollard was fucking huge because he ran hard. Like that touchdown where he runs through a linebacker and a safety to get to the end zone. That was big for Tony Pollard on a 20-yard run, and I think if he runs that hard and he shows that he can run that hard, then I think that's a big deal. The Cowboys are looking amazing against really shit teams, and the Commanders aren't a great team, and our defense will shut it down like they did for us in the fourth quarter against the Panthers.
Give me the Cowboys minus 13.5.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys minus 13.5. Yeah, I think like Sam Howell's style of play is exactly what Darren Bland wants to beat the pick six record in the NFL this year.
All right, so we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. I know it is a divisional game. To me, right now, and this is not going by records, the 49ers, when healthy, and they've been healthy last week, are the second best team in the NFL right now. And I think they cover this 7 points. Give me the 49ers minus the 7. Here's the whole thing. The 49ers have amazing players everywhere and then a really solid quarterback. So, like, I just like when they're healthy, that train is rolling. McCaffrey, Debo, IU, Kittle, you do not know where it's coming from. Purdy gets time back there even against some of the best pass rushers. And that defense is just stacked up and down. I don't see Seattle being able hanging into this game, even going mid to the second half. So give me the 49ers minus the 7.
The Seahawks, in terms of playing these hard games, have been disappointing so far this year. The games where you think, yeah, grit it out, Seattle ball, run the ball, let's get the grit factor in there. Like, let's Pete Carroll's high energy defense. They have looked disappointing. I think back to that Ravens game where they got blown out as well. And didn't they just lose to the Rams in a very similar game. Yeah, they lost by 1 point to the Rams this week as well. They against good teams, I don't think Seattle can hang. And I think against bad teams when they're healthy, the 49ers, as soon as they go ahead by 10 points, that's it. That's the game. So I hate that we're going to agree on all three of these games, Jay, but give me the 49ers as well.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford did not play well in that game, and they still beat him.
Yeah.
And I know because I had him in fantasy, and he only got me 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, the game was 17 points to 16. Yeah. But,
right.
yeah. Look, the Seahawks have the weapons on the defensive side of the ball to go up with. They have Witherspoon and they have Tyreek Woolen. So you think that takes away, if that takes away Debo and Ayuk, great. Let's throw the ball to George Kittle and let's get running the ball with Christian McCaffrey.
Kenneth Walker's doubtful for the game because I
had Charbonnet
to have him in one of my fantasy teams. So
yeah, Charbonnet is good enough though to where they don't take a big step off on the running game there. I don't think they're going to lose much in the running game in that respect.
Well, let's see if we agree on this one, and we probably will. We have the Black Friday game. And it's weird because it's at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. That's such a fucking weird time to have a game on a Friday. You'd think it'd be a prime time game. So I don't know if they think the guys will be home and women will be shopping. And if so, I just sounded as sexist as they did. But anyway.
That was bad.
Yeah. It's because I don't go Black Friday shopping and my wife will go out. But after the mad rush, she's not going to go stand in line for a fucking $9 toaster, you know.
I don't understand that. Aren't the deals all day?
They are, but once the item's gone. So, if you want one of those literally, I won't be around. If I was going to be around tomorrow, I would drive past Best Buy and take a picture. There's literally a line around the corner with people in tents the night before.
That's silly. That's just fucking mental.
It's mad, bro. It's insane. But so Black Friday game, Miami Dolphins traveling to the New York Jets. The Dolphins are favored by 10. I know that's a Jets tough defense, but if you can't score points, what the fuck are you going to do? And so I know what's his name? Todd Boyles might be starting the game. I don't think that's much of an upgrade. Maybe y'all should have kept Mike White, but whatever. And isn't Mike White Tua's backup now that
he's a Dolphin. Yeah.
So just rub it in even more. Yeah, give me the -10. Give me the fucking Dolphins -10, and I hate it. I hate that I took two big ass point spreads.
Yeah, I mean with the Dolphins' improvement on defense that is brought in by Jalen Ramsey as well, I think that makes a big difference. Also, I think we've all been expecting the Jets' run game to come to fruition eventually. So Breece Hall to start getting some big yards and carries, and it's never really happened. And I think we're at a point in the season now where we're like, okay, this isn't going to happen. So
it's a bad O-line.
Yeah, it's a terrible O-line. Rodgers, by the way, Rodgers is apparently 2 weeks off being back in training, is what he said, which makes me think he hasn't torn anything. I'm at the point where I'm like, he's not torn anything. That's not happened. But why the fuck would you come back to sit behind that offensive line anyway?
But you say that, but he explained the whole surgery, how they did a whole different type of surgery on his Achilles that gets you back faster. So I don't know. We're in a day and age now where I think doctors would have called him out for lying.
Yeah. I just think it's very Aaron Rodgers' whole MO for the past few years is to stick it to Western medicine, and but anyway, doesn't matter. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not coming back to sit behind that offensive line. I don't think the Jets are. I'd be surprised if the Jets managed to get 10 points. So, give me a hey, Moose. If the Jets manage to get 10 points, I'll be surprised. So give me the Dolphins because they only have to score 20.
All right. All right, there you have it. We got through our Thursday night football pregame show coming to you on Wednesday. So, again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Go check out the videos we dropped today and the other day about Josh Dobbs and Maddie being excited about Bill Belichick being the new head coach of the Cowboys next year and
It's
GM.
just ridiculous.
Make sure you check those out. Check out MMA Underground, Well Beyond the Arc, and everything else we got going on. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.